Say the words Area 51, and most people instantly picture crashed flying saucers, alien autopsies, and decades of science fiction movies. But the actual facility sits squarely in reality, located roughly 130 kilometers northwest of Las Vegas. For decades, the government spent immense resources completely denying the existence of this heavily guarded patch of Nevada desert. The famous stories of extraterrestrials visiting Earth were not born from the paranormal. They were the accidental result of a highly classified human reality. This map illustrates the global division during the height of the Cold War, a time when the United States was desperate to gather strategic intelligence on the Soviet bloc. To get that information without triggering a nuclear exchange, the military needed spy aircraft that could operate completely undetected, machines that pushed past the known limits of physics to avoid being shot down. Engineers found their perfect laboratory in a dry lake bed hidden behind a ring of mountains, entirely cut off from Soviet spies and the American public. Building and testing these machines required absolute institutional silence, a level of secrecy that would eventually turn against the government and spark endless conspiracy theories. The first major breakthrough to emerge from this isolated valley was the U-2 spy plane, built specifically to capture detailed photographs from the very edge of the stratosphere. Aerospace engineers then pushed flight mechanics further with the SR-71 Blackbird, a dark, sleek reconnaissance jet capable of flying faster than a rifle bullet. Later, the facility produced the F-117 Nighthawk stealth fighter. Instead of utilizing standard aerodynamic curves, it featured sharp, angular geometry designed to scatter incoming radar waves. The military even had to construct massive, experimental radar arrays in the desert, solely to test whether these bizarre new shapes could actually vanish from tracking screens. These machines looked and behaved in ways that completely defied the standard understanding of aviation at the time. Those exact physical characteristics perfectly align with the massive wave of civilian UFO sightings reported throughout the 1950s and 60s. This chart shows the massive altitude gap between commercial airliners, which topped out around 20,000 feet, and experimental spy planes operating above 60,000 feet. When commercial pilots saw the sun reflecting off metallic objects high in the darkening sky above them, they assumed they were looking at something off-world. And when civilians on the ground caught glimpses of stealth prototypes silhouetted against the night sky, they didn't see an airplane. They saw a floating diamond or a heavy black triangle hovering in the darkness. The military knew exactly what commercial pilots and civilians were reporting, but because the aerospace technology was heavily classified, officials were legally bound to remain silent and offer no explanation. By refusing to acknowledge their own engineering, the United States government inadvertently manufactured the most resilient UFO mythology in modern history. Today, the U-2 and the SR-71 are declassified historical facts that solve the mystery. Yet the cultural obsession with crashed spaceships continues to completely dominate Area 51's public image. The facility is actually a monument to extreme geopolitical strategy and human aerospace innovation, and it is not abandoned. The perimeter remains under maximum security lockdown, heavily patrolled to keep onlookers far away from the active airspace. The development of next-generation defense technology is happening right now, hidden behind those mountains and locked inside silent hangars. If the flying saucers of the past turned out to be classified military jets, we have to ask what kind of impossible technology is flying over the Nevada darkness tonight.